shop for summer clothes. Think pink, think pink if you want that kelp that shows. Red is dead, blue is through, green's obscene, brown's taboo, and there is not the slightest excuse for plum abuse or chartreuse. Think pink.
G'day, gorgeous. So I thought I might talk to you about this little thing I've been working on with regards to my new book. So I'm writing a new book called The Trouble with Trauma. I'm doing a lot of writing in my head, not a whole lot of typing going on. Getting there. But I think what's interesting is that I've been formulating and working through the premise of the book, which ultimately is around what is trauma and why is trauma such a big problem for us. So in essence, I'm going to just put it out there and say our primary emotional need as human beings is for connection. Me to you, you to everybody around you, even me with the dog, okay? Connection. We all need it as human beings. In fact, it's absolutely essential to our survival. So the basis of trauma is, in essence, a disconnection. So why do we have traumatic events in our lives? It's because we have a disconnect. So my big explanation at the moment about why all of this stuff kind of comes together and why trauma is so important to understand is because our very first experience of a trauma that we actually recall and remember, and we can kind of that we actually make an attribution for, so we blame ourselves for, is usually when you're about 4 years old. So your first experience is actually an abandonment. Now people sort of say to me, how do you know that it's at 4? So really interesting. From when you're born to when you're 2 or thereabouts, your primary emotional needs are met by your primary caregiver. So your mum or, whoever looked after you as a baby. Your needs are met. Your needs are always met. You're fed, you're clothed, you've got a roof over your head, okay? You're kept warm. At about 2, around that sort of 18-month mark, when the kids start to say no, they're starting to learn about language and what's important, and they notice the reaction that they get when they say no. But around 2, we get desire. So what's the big deal about desire? So the importance of desire is that I'm throwing a tantrum, right? And it's because instead of just having a need for food, I've suddenly now got a desire for something else. But I don't have language, so I can't communicate that desire to you. In my brain, I think that my primary caregiver knows exactly what I'm thinking, because everything up until then, right? The mother knows what the child needs. So at this point, when need changes to desire, I'm looking to my parent to give me what I want, and I don't necessarily get it. Now, there's a range of reasons why I don't get it, but why do I throw tantrums? Because I don't have language to communicate what I desire, and I'm usually not getting what it is that I want. So from there, we kind of get on with it, and we get more language and we get more awareness, but we still think that our parent can understand what's going on in our head. In fact, we think that all of the adults around us can read our minds. And what I really love is that moment when we know that we get individuation fully. So they'll usually be able to look in a mirror and kind of go, say their name, like, maybe at 1 or 2, it's kind of like they can point in the mirror and go, Kerry, right? They know that's the name that they give that baby or that person that they see in the mirror. But there's an argument that says they don't actually realise that that's them, that they are an individual, because they still see themselves as an extension of the parent until they're 4. What happens at 4? At 4, they work out that they can know things, that little voice inside their head knows things that their parent doesn't know. And when they've reached that point of true individuation, because they'll say, I've got a secret. And that's that point when you recognise that actually they know that they are an individual, that what they think inside their head, their parent cannot know unless they express it. And what's funny is soon after that, they learn to tell lies. So why is that important? Because from that point, you understand that the things that happen to you happen because you impact them. So what do we know about children? Up until about the age of 10 or 12, they have concrete thinking. Good things happen to you because you're good, and bad things because you're bad. Simple as that. Black and white. Okay? So at 4, you may be aware of when it happened to you, at 4 you'll have a moment after you recognize that you were an individual where you felt an abandonment or a disconnection from your primary caregivers, and you reasoned to yourself at that point in time that it was your fault. Okay? Why is that important? Because this is the child part that you then later on will tap back into when you're feeling rejected. Now, I'll explain that later, and I can tell you now, I'm going to have to make this at least 2 or 3 videos, I think. So, let me pause here just in case we need to do that.
And that includes the kitchen sink. Pink, 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 pink.